Morning, everybody. Ace of Trades here again. It's Friday, February 13th. We're trading a 2000 tick chart with 21 EMA or ES primarily. I will look at other charts from time to time, other time frames, and uh, also look at NQ once in a while. But typically looking at the ES. The Bible says in James chapter 4, verse 14, "Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then vanisheth away." So I'd ask you today, have you thought about how short your life actually is and what's going to happen to you when you die? It's a good thing to think about and consider. The scope of eternity, our time here is very short. So we have today um, basically opened up in a 40-point range or so, which is big enough to get if you end up trending in one direction or another and you get a setup. It's big enough to trade trends. Um, if you're not too close to the lows or to the highs. So, I mean, you can see it's pretty clear. There's nothing really going on here that's, you're just kind of working between these two ends. And we kind of just fell out there and just V recovered back up into the range. We got this whole move up and then your little break and move up. And so there's nothing here I'm really interested in trading. We'll kind of watch what price does with this up here. This is pretty strong, but we have broken and made a new high. So we'll see if we get some sort of setup up here um, or not to come back down into this range. But I'm just going to pause it here for now. I think I decided against recording just a huge 2-3 hour video just because the channel's so small, so small right now. I think having a huge video that not many people are watching is just something that the algorithm's not going to like. Um, and again, the goal of the channel is not really to get this huge following or whatever, but I do want people to watch the videos and try to learn how to trade from the style that I'm trading. Um, so if there's no audience for the videos, then what's the point anyway? But yeah, so we'll just leave it here for now, and I'll come back again when there's something else to talk about. Okay, everybody, just a quick teaching update here. I really haven't seen anything here this morning yet. The bars are very big. The ATR is just a couple minutes ago was over 6, like 6.5. It's still way over 5 right now. So you have to be super careful with your entries because the loser is going to be a lot. Um, because of the bar size. So sometimes when this happens, maybe you just want to sit out and just wait for the market to calm down, even if you maybe see some entries or something that you think that you'd take. Just because it's very as you're watching the bar, it doesn't take long for bars to print either. So you may misplace an entry or something like that. You may get ticked in. Price may spike up or down in a volatile manner before you're ready for it at any given moment. I mean, look how big this bar is getting. 2, 4, 6. This bar is 8 points. Um, and there's like, you got 2 legs up here into the measured move area, into this. So we did hit this resistance and start to push off it. One thing you want to note, though, right now is there's uh, what I would call a bullish imbalance in this range, which means um, price was not, you can see how it's swinging off the going down to here, coming up to here, and eventually coming down to here and going up to here. Well, last time it came off the highs, it could not get down to the other side of the range before it pushed all the way back up again to the other side. So you may have the bulls getting stronger here and trying to push this out. What you'd like to see to get the range reestablished is you'd like to see maybe this move um, make it all the way back down to this range to confirm that we are still in a range. Right now you can draw something like this. I'm not saying it's going to stick or anything or become anything, but it's just something to be aware of that you don't want to, if you're thinking short coming off the top, you don't, you want to be careful not to trade into a potentially developing uh, uptrend. Sometimes these things form in strange places for seemingly no reason. You can see there was a lot of this after this water fell here. There was a lot of support here for some reason. Pushed up, pushed back down in this area, pushed up, pushed back down, and now pushing back up. So um, I'm just watching this right now to see if there's any structures that I can identify to get in with the move down, but also being careful because of um, the bears selling, not being able to push this all the way down. So just a little update there about what's going on with the price action right now. Okay, everybody. We are. So what ended up happening is like this. We didn't quite hit this measured move. What we ended up, where were we? We were kind of, I think, pushing up here. Maybe the last update. Again, I forgot to put my marker on there. But we came back off. We couldn't even push back down to where this was, and we started bouncing up. And then at that point, once we started ripping up here, I was looking at this as one leg up, two legs up, and looking for if we would get something nice. If we hit this measured move and we're real far away from the EMA and we get a real strong bearish lower high, I'd be looking to short that, but then never made it to the measured move. Went in kind of sideways here, and you just got to be careful about your lower highs. Remember yesterday I was talking about, um, ooh, may have missed something there. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, so we have this trend. I'm counting this is way too small to be one leg. So I'm going to count this as one leg here. We got to be careful though because we came back into this area and bounced immediately. Let's see, maybe we'll get something where we'll get like two big legs. Like maybe we'll push down here and then we'll get another big leg up into this level here. Um, I'm viewing this as all this is so thin here. I'm viewing this as kind of one move down. We'll see if we can get something because sometimes when you push back in, these levels that are resistance, they'll become um, support and resistance levels. Will prices sometimes go back and forth testing them. So we'll see what happens here at this level. This ripped up pretty quickly, and maybe the bulls are just too strong here today, and it doesn't want to go past that level. But we're starting to get some selling coming in here. I'm just playing around with my trend lines while I'm waiting. Um, ba, ba, ba. So anyway, I looked for this measured move. I I pulled the screen over because I noticed that we were making two legs up here. So I didn't want to like miss a trade or something. But anyway, we couldn't quite make the measured move. And remember, breaking out of ranges. Let's scroll this down. Often, when you break out of a range, prices will try to fade the range, just like it's right, the ranges are just sideways trends. So looks like we broke out of here, it immediately faded back up, broke out strongly on this second leg, immediately faded back down. Tried to hold here for a second, pushed back down, and now it's pushing back up. It's finding resistance again here. So we'll see what happens here. Um, kind of squeezed here between this level and the EMA, so really not interested in looking at a trade right now unless maybe we'd get like two failed attempts to push through this under the EMA or something, and maybe this could be sometimes a good area where we'd be looking for, if we got our trade, catch a runner with it, as this would, maybe inclined to make a second leg down here. Um, sometimes they're not super clean, these second legs. As you can see, we kind of chopped around here for a while before we pushed our way up. But I'm going to stop it here because I just don't want the video to go on and on and on while I'm sitting here waiting for something that may not even materialize. But I just wanted to also point out I just watched some YouTuber trading with like 100,000 subscribers trading the NQ. They just got destroyed because they don't understand price action. They're and so I don't know. It was like on NQ. Let me go over to NQ. They're not trading the same chart as me, but it's NQ is following ES relatively the same today. But they bought like up here and they did like 100 point uh risk reward on it, and they just got murdered as this fell back into the range. So um, those folks are and people with 6-figure subscribers. Those folks they're largely just entertainers. Um, Most people will find what I'm doing very boring. They won't want to sit around and watch somebody often take, just one, two, three trades a week. They want to see activity. Um, so they want to be entertained. But that's not what we're here to do. We're here to try to make money, not entertain people. So anyway, looks like the Bulls are right now saying, uh, we're not accepting your fade. We want to continue pushing this higher, and we'll just see if we can end up finding any structures that we can trade. So I'll just stop it here for now, and we'll come back when there's something interesting. All right, everybody. It's been about an hour 20 minutes since our last update. So when we had left off, I was looking for some sort of short here, maybe to help fade the range, but price just would not push down. Pushed up through, came back down here and tested the hold on a sec. Sorry, I had something playing in the background I didn't realize. So um tried to fade again after this and barely made it back into the range, pushed back up. Um at this point, I can't remember if I had this measured move on here last time or not. But since this continues to push up higher and fails to push down into the range every time, it gets uh, higher and higher. It uh, ends up before it bounces. So I have this measured move on here because you just never know how price is going to try to get to a measured move. We do get to that. I also have this on here as a measured move because we had basically this move up 2 legs, another move up. We're into both of those measured moves now, and price seems to be this is an odd trend. Usually you don't get trends where you're drawing stuff off the wicks like this, although this is fitting right now. I'm not, because we're into these measured moves, and this is a very kind of bizarre structure to me. I'm still concerned that price is going to try to fade down here now that we're into these moves, several legs up on several accounts, and you could even maybe draw something here, and you've got a third leg up if we do this. In fact, that low is not much further down than this one, so you're most certainly, so you've got several confluences of measured moves, but this seems to want to try to hold this, but I'm just going to be patient and wait and see if something else develops. Now, if this would like hold this and push up again, back up here, then maybe if I get a couple legs back here, then I'm interested. But because this is into these measured moves, I'm concerned about going long there, and this structure is kind of weird to me, because maybe on a different chart, maybe there are closes down here into this, and this. I mean, it looks pretty good, except for these wicks off the bottom that's odd. At first, I kind of had it like this, I was kind of drawing it like that, and then the fact that after we pushed up here, um, and you know, failed to even penetrate the EMA and just pushed up again, I thought maybe it's like this, even though that's not normally how I draw trends. Um, so again, just sitting here watching. Um, Definitely do not want to buy things just going into brand new highs. Prefer to wait for the pullbacks on the trends, but this just continues to want to push higher here. So we'll just have to watch it and see what happens. Let's do a little update here. So we left off around this area and price was moving up, but I was saying about how this structure just looks kind of odd to me. And to be wary of going long because you're up into multiple measured moves here. So price does eventually kind of, weaken and go sideways and then it dumps down this leg. I don't see anything to try to get in on anything there. And then looks like we're trying to make this second leg down. It's price action seems very messy to me and we're kind of just we've pushed down a little bit. I think, trying to maybe this will turn into support. Um maybe this whole area here, we'll just put on there just so you get a visual. Maybe this whole area here will turn into, a range because, sometimes what price does after it makes big measured moves, temporarily at least, uh, if not an outright reversing um, scenario, is price will kind of go into a range then for a while. And, based on how big this structure is and how much time there is left in the market, we could just be in a range the rest of the afternoon. Um, Looks like it's trying to push down here a second time, but it's run into some buying in this area. It's having difficulty pushing through this level. So I don't see anything right now that looks good. Um, just kind of watching whether, this whole area here will hold a support and then it will eventually start moving higher again. Or if, the buying ends up drying up, the bears win, and then this pushes down through and tries to fade again. So that's about it for now. It's just kind of been not pretty boring. So I haven't updated as regularly as I have, previously. That's it for now. Um, yeah, I mean some people might like that to buy that, but now that price is kind of, if you can see the bigger picture here, price is kind of uh the buying is kind of dried up a little bit. So um you don't want to be buying at the end of legs when the bias is against you. That would have been better. It's better to buy when the bias is still with you and you're getting measured legs, but now that we've hit into these measured move levels and this is all kind of played out and rolled over to a degree. This looks like this is trying to hold here and the buyers are trying to take it higher now. But we'll just have to wait and see. So I'll be back in a little while. Quick update here, guys. When we were talking, I think price was in this area, and I said I wasn't sure what was going to happen out of this. Ends up after we pushed, let's see, down like that, I drew this structure. I kind of thought this little range type deal is not really a thing. And then I was having trouble finding, just figuring out. Then we kind of pierced through this, um, you know, kind of downtrend here that we were looking at, and I I flipped over to just the 4,000 tick to see is there something from a bigger structure standpoint, like why are we bouncing in these weird places? And so I grabbed this, put this on there. It seems to fit really well, so we'll have to see what price does coming off here. If this goes up here and starts, heading back up
or um, maybe this turns out to not be a thing and we just push down through. But it's good to have on there in case, we're thinking, because if you're really just, you don't have that on there and you're really just kind of dialed into the tighter price action. If you didn't have that, like for example, then maybe you're still thinking short, and maybe that will turn out to be that short is the right idea, but um, it's you want to you don't want to get trapped shorting into a larger structure, and so we do have to be concerned about that. Um, but it still seems like it's struggling here at the EMA. It's struggling at this measured move level. So we'll have to see if we get another leg and just pushes up real strong, then uh, this might be heading up off the other side of this channel. So we'll just have to be patient and see what happens. I don't really see anything else. You have these two legs here into this sort of thing. I wouldn't have had that on there. It just looks odd to me. It doesn't look right. I'm concerned at this point how after price bounced around here that you won't get bounced out of there off the EMA. So I don't think that that's a great short there. So just waiting to see what we do here off this level. That's it for now. All right, time for an update, everybody. All right, so this is where it gets a little tricky here. Um, this could be if I start drawing this channel off these closes, this could still be part of this could still all be within the channel. If I drew it off these like this would be a break and a new low. But the way this is pushing down, um, I'm thinking that this is correct because this has made no effort. This has made no effort to reverse. So now we're pushing back down to the other side of the channel. And sometimes this just starts waterfalling and overshoots everything, so it doesn't make a difference anyway. But what I'd be looking for now is I'm looking for a couple legs back to the other side of the channel here. Because this is looking, now that this is pushed down here, this is looking pretty good. So that's what I'm looking for right now. This wider channel ended up not being anything, but it's good to have it on there just in case it would be, and you don't get trapped going into it. But I'll pull that off now because it's not useful anymore. So uh, probably just come back here at the end of the day. It's almost 3:30 now. And I'm back for a final update for the day. So we left off. I forgot to put my marker down again. Could remember where we were. It was around 3:30, wasn't it? 3:20, 3:30. I can't remember. Um, I was drawing this channel. So this is what gets difficult sometimes with these is you can't really tell. At first I was drawing it like this off here, but then as this spread out and continued to, if this was a break in a new low, this just continued to go down, and we can see that this is fitting pretty good off both sides. It is pretty weak. It can't get back to the other side before it goes lower. We finally do get our two-legged break here. Unfortunately, this is just not a good enough bar to try to short. Looking for something that kind of we have plenty of room here to the EMA as we go for a first attempt, a second attempt. Um, and this might even start heading down because we just actually hit the measured move on that bar there. And maybe that's all this is trying to get to, and maybe that's why it failed down or failed from making a new um, a better attempt. I couldn't push through the EMA on that second attempt. But I was looking for a nice bar there. And that's just too bullish for me, especially with this measured move still in play. It could just like kind of tick lower and push up and looking for a nice bearish bar. with room to the EMA there when you pop up above the EMA. Um, and you just don't get it. I think had if you were looking at the 1,000 tick, but again, it's difficult to switch gears between these. Right there is where that occurred on this downtrend. Then you had this first leg, this second leg. So, I mean, that's reasonable there. After this leg makes a new high, and then you get that bar. Still expecting this huge downtrend to try to make a new low, and you got, plenty of room there, 5 points or so to the EMA, and that's pretty decent risk. You're probably looking at like 2.5 points or something, maybe with your stop on it and your entry. But yeah, it just didn't work out there on that. So that happens, but we're looking for an entry here, or even if we'd have got two legs back, around here, like if this would have poked up, pushed down, poked up again with an entry, decent bearish bar, would could have looked for something there, but just didn't get it, and that's the way things go sometimes. So picked up two trades this week. Um, so that's about it for the week here, guys. It's Friday. Monday is President's Day. There is half day trading. Usually it's pretty sluggish in the morning. Sometimes I poke my head in and see what's going on for the morning. It's usually those half day holidays are usually pretty slow. So it's once in a while you will catch a trade in the morning. Um, so I may stick my nose into the market and see what's going on for the day. I don't, other than looking for something right here. I mean, there are places to look for stuff, but just nothing happened. And the market on the way up was really kind of sketchy as far as finding structures that you could rely on. Um, but that's it for today. And this may, now that we've hit the measured move, this may try to move down, but we're in after 4 o'clock, so we can't be trading that stuff. Um, oh, I did want to show. Let's see. So some people may be wondering, how do we know that? How do we know you're actually trading? Um, live, uh, and not trading sim. So hold on, let me pause it a second here. I'll pull up some stuff from this week. All right, so here's a snippet of my uh, daily brokerage statement. They send you every time you have a trade. They send you a broker statement. So here's my broker statement from that trade on the 10th. And again, if you're go watch yesterday's video, you can see I pull up um, my P&L trades from this week, which I had two trades this week. There's that one, and then there's this one. And I just cut out all my personal stuff. And even over here, there's order numbers for my trades and stuff. And I don't know, there's maybe some internet geniuses out there that can take your order numbers from your transaction and try to figure out who you are and get the information. I don't know, but I just wanted to show everybody that you know these are real live trades I'm taking, not sim trades. So yeah, that's about all I have for today, and guess that wraps it up for the week. So I'll be back again to make some more videos next week. Take care.